What's going on, YouTube? So we got the new wheel, tire carrier combination, everything like that on the Jeep. The backup camera that was installed on the Jeep that went through the factory wheels no longer goes through the rather complex wheel pattern on this one. So we need to find a solution on moving the camera in a position to where we can see through this. But I don't think that's going to happen. So let's try and get creative here on a new solution. So the backup camera wire goes into this grommet here, and that goes inside here. So you can open this panel right here, but all you're going to see is where the wire comes in the grommet. I have kind of this baggage system from Best Top on the back here. I am unscrewing that, and as you can see right here is the camera wire. That's going to go all the way back. Looks like it's here. We're going to bring the camera all the way back here and find a way to drop it through the bottom of the Jeep to bring it to the back over here, because we're going to see if we can get the camera inside there. We got the carrier off the back here so we can see all of our wires. On the outside here, this grommet, if you get your fingers underneath there, you can actually pull that grommet out, which now that then frees the camera. But I believe this is a third-party camera, so whoever installed it built this plastic bracket, and they used epoxy and glued the camera all together. So I'm going to have to pull the epoxy off so I can get the camera to go through here, or let me check on the other end and see if there is a connector somewhere in here to where I can unplug it and pull the wire out that way. Luckily, I don't have to mess with that right now, because upon closer inspection, as this wire went up, I saw that it went up around through here, and I pulled out all this wire, and here we go. We got a connector, so we can pull the camera out without having to mess too much with that bracket right now. We're gonna eventually have to take all this plastic stuff off, but I got a connector, so that's gonna make life a little easier. Now that we got the camera free of the tailgate, let's just clean up our mess and put everything back together. I did have to take off this little vent piece here in order to get the wire out from this way, because it does come this way and then back through the grommet right there. There are two of these push tabs on this side, on the left hand side. So what you want to do is pop those out and then take this out. The person that did this before forced it out the wrong way, and they pulled it out this way. They broke the top tab, which, whatever, it's just a plastic piece, not a big deal. But the proper way to remove this is to pull from the left hand side to pop those out and then slide it out. All right, so looking at the back of the Jeep here, if we go down underneath, we see this line right here. This is the line that goes to the wiring adapter for the trailer. So I think I want to try and follow that line down, because that's going exactly the direction I want to go. So I believe that is down underneath this portion, because if we look behind the carpet here, we see a lot of the wiring that goes down behind this. So I believe these are T40 Torx bits. We're going to take this off to get this plastic panel off, and let's take a look at what's underneath. So I ended up taking this off and looking underneath there. That does not go to that connection that I was hoping to go through. But good news, we can still run this line behind this plastic panel down here. There's room for it to come out here without getting pinched. This is where the useless jack stand to change tires and stuff are, because now we're lifted and that doesn't fit. But anyways, it'll go back in there. But that line can go from here down into here, and here's this grommet. And if we pull this grommet off, that gives us access to underneath the bumper. That access is actually right there, and it comes out right where the receiver hitch is. So this is actually going to work out pretty well. So that's going to be our routing. We're going to bring the wire in there, up through here, and then back up here to connect to the camera harness. So let's get that routed. I'll save you guys the boredom of pulling wires, but that's the direction we're going. So we got the wire ran, it goes up, connects back to the connector that it was at before, and it's just all tucked behind the carpet and underneath the plastic molding here. I didn't have to remove it all. If you're doing this, probably should remove the screw anyway, just so you can get enough to lift that up and get your hand back there to run it. We are going to now work on mounting the camera in there, but this is where you actually have to buy something. So I got the wiring down all the way up here, and we got our camera here. The magic, all right? Buy one of these for about $5, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to cut a square right in the middle of this, where we are going to put our camera through that square. Mine's a square, yours might be round, whatever it is, but you know, we're making things up as we go here. So let's find the center of this and start making a cutout, and we want to make this as snug as we can. We don't want to make it too big. So let's find the middle of this. To find the middle of this, I'm actually going to use a builder's square, and we'll just line it up, draw a line across here, and then we'll do it again on this side. Line it up, draw across, and where the lines cross in the middle should be the middle of this. That's done. I don't know how well you guys can see it, but there you go. You can see the X right there, right in the center. That's kind of where I expect it to be, but there we go. So now we need to measure out how big the opening is. All right, after I did measure it out, it actually just fits within the top part of the E, the outer edges of the E, and then right across the bottom of toe power. This one is a harder plastic, so I think I'm going to drill it first and then take a razor blade or whatnot and then square off the corners. If you guys can find some of these that are actually made of rubber, it's going to be easier to cut with an X-Acto knife or a utility knife, but I am going to start with a drill bit in the center and then clean up the corners. All right, after I did measure it out, it actually just fits within the top part of the E, the outer edges of the E, and then right across the bottom of toe power. This one is a harder plastic, so I think I'm going to drill it first and then take a razor blade or whatnot and then square off the corners. If you guys can find some of these that are actually made of rubber, it's going to be easier to cut with an X-Acto knife or a utility knife, but I am going to start with a drill bit in the center and then clean up the corners. So I got the hole drilled out here, and now I'm going to take a utility knife and square it out the rest way. This is just a place to where I can just get the tip of the blade going. So let's we're starting to cut through it. It's real simple. This hard plastic is kind of a rubbery texture, so that utility knife's going through it. We'll cut through it, we'll check fitment, and just slowly trim until we get up to size. So you always want to cut less and then work your way up. If you cut too much, you can't put it back on. But we're working. So once you get the square cut out, the right side of your camera, we'll just feed the camera in from the back side. And I got mine pretty snug fit, so it should sit in there pretty well, and those Allen screws from the previous mounting bracket will prevent it from falling forward all the way out. So there you go, it is mounted in there. It is a snug fit, you know, it's not going anywhere. Anytime that we need the hitch, we can just take this cover off, push the camera through, and then just easily pull it back up through that opening there, which we have a rubber grommet for it. Sorry, rubber grommet's right there. We can just pull the camera back up and use our hitch, no problem. Now, the other thing is, with it sitting out here, we're open on the back. So I did buy a second one, and basically we'll cut a notch out so the wire can feed through the top here, and we're gonna put this on the back side of the hitch just to prevent dirt and stuff building up from here. We also have the muffler right here that we need to be cautious of. So I ran it on the inside of an existing wire there just to keep it away from the muffler. And we can wrap this with some insulation and prevent it from getting burned up. So I do have insulation that I can throw on here really quick. But let's get the notch cut out of the top of this so we can run the wire. So I ran a small drill bit right in the corner there. Then I ran the drill bit from this side back through, and then just kind of pressed the drill to kind of cut a groove in there. We'll use a utility knife to clean that up so the wire has a channel to sit in, and we just need to cut a slit vertically here so the wire can fit down in there. So there you have it. We got the notch cut in and the groove cut out. So now we can fit our wire. Here is the camera that's in there. Here is the wire that's going to run out the back. I just left a little bit of slack inside there, just in case, you know, that way when you need to pull this end off, you're not going to yank any of the wires out. So there is a little slack left inside. So this will get pushed into the back here, and let me get that, and I'll get you a shot of that when it's all in. So I did have some of this extra, just insulation to protect it a little bit from the heat. You can see here on the back, if we can get the lighting better, But there you go, there's the hitch on the back, and we have the wire just going out the top. That way we're not getting too close to this with the insulation around it. That is closed up on the back side, or the underside of the receiver, and here is our camera mounted on the outside. We'll just clean up everything and then make sure everything works. But that is an excellent solution to a backup camera when you put a new oversized tire on your tire carrier. So this is the camera angle from the hitch mounted camera. So it looks a little bit different than what it was before. Before we were kind of looking angled more down. This one is just kind of a straight shot back. So it'll take a little bit of getting used to. You can kind of see the bottom side of the tire right above us there. Take a little bit of getting used to, but I think that's going to work out nicely. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you learned something here. You know, I just kind of made up the camera lens here for the backup camera, and it seemed to work out pretty well. Check out some of my other videos. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Click that like button and get the next video.